So hi, I'm Rosemary Jammal. I'm a software engineer at Google, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Women Who Code. So what is Women Who Code? It is an organization that is trying to build up and empower women in technology. So how is it that we do that? We host a lot of free meetups. We have scholarships. We have hackathons. We help people get funding for going to conferences and giving technical presentations. We are also 30,000 members across 18 different countries across the world. So all these things tell you a little bit about what is Women Who Code, but it doesn't tell you much about how is it that we help people. What is the actual impact of some of these meetups? What is the impact of trying to have study sessions and technical trainings? How is it that we are actually helping? So I feel like the best way to cover that is to give a more personal story. What is my involvement with Women Who Code? How did I get involved with it? And where has it brought me through my career? So to start out, just a little background on me. I have a somewhat non-traditional approach to computer science. I don't have a computer science degree from college. In fact, I was working at a fairly non-glamorous, somewhat boring job of being in a call center. So I was a support rep, and it wasn't the greatest of jobs. And so I was kind of bored. I decided, why not try something? I'll take some class on Coursera, and I signed up for an Intro to Programming course. Now, I was just getting into it. I was a few weeks into my course, and I realized, wow, this is really fun. I like this a lot. This is really interesting. I mentioned it to a friend of mine at work, and she said, you should go to a Women Who Code meetup. And my reaction will tell you a little bit about where I was and what I was thinking at that time. I thought, whoa, is it okay for somebody like me to go? And that really tells you something about where I was, where I felt that I was within the community. Pretty much not a part of it. So, and here I am, I've got all these fears running through my head. Oh, you know what, I'm going to show up and they're going to be like, hey, have you heard about this technology that you've never heard of? And it was going to be deer in headlights. People were going to be like, oh, you know nothing, you're not contributing. But my friend said, no, it's not like that. You should come. So she convinced me. I showed up, and it was the polar opposite of what I had feared. It was people who were really kind, welcoming, very open. They were enthusiastic about technology and thrilled to have somebody else who was enthusiastic about technology too, that they could talk about and say, oh, I'm learning about this new thing. Oh, what are some good resources for that? It was such a warm, positive experience. And I got to listen to interesting technical speakers talking about things, some of it over my head, some of it I did understand. And one of the people talked a little bit about imposter syndrome. Now, this is a woman who had years of industry experience, and it was eye-opening. You mean this person with years of industry experience feels exactly the same as me, feels like an outsider, feels like they're not part of this community? And that's one thing that I learned as I started going to more and more Women Who Code meetups, is that opinion's really common. A lot of women don't feel like they are a part of the tech community. They feel like, you know, there's so much stuff that they don't know that people will jump down their throats, and it's not true. It's definitely not true at Women Who Code. But as I went to more and more meetups, I got more and more perspective on this. I got more and more encouragement from my peers. One day, it was in fact at a Women Who Code meetup that somebody mentioned, hey, Women Who Code is hosting a hackathon. You should join. And you know, insecurities don't go away in a day. My first reaction was, well, I don't want to hold back my teammates. I don't want to be a burden on the team. I don't want to go out there and do that. But they said, no, you won't be. Just go for it. Just give it a try. And I did. And there were definitely some parts that were nerve-wracking, like, I don't know how to build an app. How am I going to get started on this? But worked through it, and frankly, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time just building things under a strict deadline, working to get some demo out there. And other people on my team had fun too. It was really a great experience. Then I got to see other people's demos, which were great. Then finally, there was the awards ceremony, and most of my team didn't even bother to show. I mean, we really didn't think we had a chance of winning this. But then they announced us as the winners. Me and the one other teammate who had bothered to remain were just jaws on the floor, shocked. It really goes to show that you can contribute. There's a lot that you can bring to the table. My team won that, and I don't know that they would have if I hadn't been there helping and supporting. And yeah, there was stuff I had to learn too, but there was also things that I could offer and bring to the table. So using the prize money from that hackathon, I decided it's time to just go dive into this. I set aside that money, started saving up so that I could go to a coding boot camp, so that I could focus full-time and then start coding full-time instead of on nights and weekends while I go into my call center day job. So I did that. A few months later, I had enough saved up, went to App Academy, a coding boot camp, a few months of intensive studying there, and then I started applying to full-time work, and I got a job at Google. Pretty much my dream job. I was over the moon. And a lot of this was really enabled by women who code, by people encouraging me, by me seeing other people have these same insecurities and these same fears, and you just gotta move forward, meet them, and sort of embrace the stuff that you love. So that's a huge part of what Women Who Code has done for me, and I know other stories from other people who've had similar experiences. It really does help and empower a lot of women. So if you're interested in getting involved in any way in Women Who Code, it is a nonprofit, it is charity, so any donations that you make, if your corporation does any matching, they will match that. The books, as mentioned before, those are all being donated, all the proceeds donated to Women Who Code. If you happen to be at a company that could host meetups, it's an excellent recruitment opportunity, and it's also really helpful. So thank you, everybody, for listening to my story. Thank you very much to Trove and all of our sponsors. I hope you have a great day at the conference. Okay.